This is the Fresh Take Interviews, where we get together with the person behind the mic, the art, the voice, and find out their unfiltered take on the world that is anime. By my watch, it's about 11 a.m. my side at time of recording, and nearly midnight his. But that's the grind of an anime podcaster who's eating good, talking everything wrestling, watching everything the season has to offer, and churning out content like it's WrestleMania. I guess his only respite is when he gets to clock off to a couple of Frenchy bosses, but other than that, he is a very, very cool guy. This is technically the return leg because I believe it was January of last year we got together on your platform to do what I thought was known as more than hentai. So unless you've had a little bit of a rebrand, or I've basically latched onto a tagline that actually isn't your tagline, I'll let you basically correct me on anything that I may have got wrong. Hailing from Melbourne, Australia, Brendan of the Sakura Society. Welcome on, sir. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. It is an absolute pleasure to be here, my friend. It's nice to be on the other side of the hosting microphone for a change. So it's kind of cool to just sit back, relax, enjoy the ambiance, and get a little blush happening on the skin with such a fantastic introduction there. I guess sort of first things first. Yeah, it was at the time more than hentai, but with a word like hentai in a brand name, it can get a little divisive amongst potential brands and sponsors out there, and also I've noticed some shadow banning on some of the video platforms and stuff. So I sort of built a brand over the top of that called Sakura Society, and now More Than Hentai and Anime Appreciation Podcast has now become Sakura Society, an anime appreciation podcast. So it's a little bit more friendly. It's still just as cheeky, just without sort of the hentai related coding to it now.
Okay, I hear you. Well, thank you. And again, like you said, I was on your platform last year, and you're on the other side. This is the return leg. And I guess it's a chance to get people on my side of the globe to get to know you and what you're up to. But before that, I think I want to do like a little bit of an icebreaker, just something to get you relaxed, which I'm pretty sure you don't need being a seasoned podcaster yourself. But I think I want to do what is called a 1 minute quiz. Nothing to what's what I'm looking for. Nothing to. There's not gonna be any pressure. It's just basically some things that you should know about you. We hope.
Okay, yeah, I hope so. If I don't, I'm going to sort of seriously question my existence after this. So we'll see how we go.
Okay, so let me actually do what I was supposed to do. And set a timer
It's so
for
official.
1
You're setting an actual timer.
I'm setting
I'm
an
gonna
actual
have
timer.
a quick sip.
Go for it. You know what? My watch decides that it wants to not cooperate, which is actually super embarrassing. Why would you do this to me?
The joys of content. I could maybe set one if you like.
No, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. 1 second.
Okay.
As he gets his phone.
I thought you were going to get an egg timer out of the kitchen and wind it up.
LOL. You know what? The funny thing is, I actually have an egg timer downstairs. I might actually bring that into future ones.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see. But anyway, let's set that timer in 3, 2, 1. What is your name?
My name is Brendan White. As boring as it sounds, as boring as I am.
Favorite anime?
Your Lie in April.
Do you eat cheese by itself?
No, I do not.
Burgers or ramen?
It's very mood dependent, but gun to the head, I'd go burgers.
Comfort anime?
Anything slice of life, romance, very sort of low lift stuff, low stress stuff. So anything that I can feel the warm and fuzzies for, and of that there is many.
What is your favorite thing to do?
Ooh, I do love to watch anime and read, whether it be manga, manhwa, standard traditional sort of print media and stuff like that. So That, and then just very creatively minded. So anything where I can sort of, flex the creativity muscles, whether it be making podcasts, writing, drawing, editing, stuff like that. That's usually sort of my happy place.
Amazing. And that is time. I just wanted to throw a few questions your way to see. I'm a bit upset because a little bit further down there was a question that I wanted to ask, but I'm just gonna throw it in anyway because
Yeah, let's go. It's your show. You can do whatever you like.
You know what? Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. What is your favorite wrestler?
Ooh,
Or who should I say?
that's hard. Like, if we're going to go of all time, it's a toss-up between the many variations that Mick Foley put out there. Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and then, Mick Foley as well. Jeff Hardy, and then Rob Van Dam. They're my three. I was in a backyard wrestling league back in the day, and my name was Bren Van Dam. That's sort of how much I loved RVD. I was BVD. So, they're my three. They're my three all-timers.
Now, do you know what? The sort of choices. When you said Mick Foley and all his variations, it kind of reminded me of, I guess, he's the wrestling version of a cosplayer. He was literally, I think in one Royal Rumble, he came out multiple times as his different personas, which was absolutely amazing. It was gold.
Yeah, he's such a crazy man for some of the bumps he took over the years, but he's a genuine nice human. I've been fortunate enough to meet him at a couple of the book tours he's done over the years and stuff, and he's just a good guy. So, they always say you should never meet your heroes, but it was nice to meet him and go, you know what, you're a good fella, and don't need to go into the political realms here, but some of the things that he's decided to plant a flag onto, I'm like, you know what, you're an even better fella.
Nice. No, that is fair. I guess we're gonna unpack a little bit about you and your anime origin story. So I guess we'll have obviously the 1 minute quiz was the icebreakers, but let's deep dive a little bit. What was your gateway anime?
This question, every time I get asked it, I sort of feel a little dirty or a little prejudgmental from whoever's asking the question to me, because the majority of the time you hear Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Naruto, etc., a lot of the more safe, child-oriented anime out there. But no, I decided to skip all that. My gateway / first foray into anime was through Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll.
Okay. One of the most intense films in the anime world of all time. Came out in 1993, done by Madhouse, still one of the best studios to date. I'll die on that hill. And Kawajiri, the director and the writer behind it, did Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, has done Wicked City as well. So I was very much sort of adult anime coded at a very young age. I shouldn't have watched it at the age I was. I was 9-10 years old watching Vampire Hunter D, and Vampire Hunter D's a little safer from the 80s, and then Bloodlust in 2000 was awesome, but feudal Japan, brutal combat, so much gore, so much supernatural, so much boobies, and then the 8 Devils of Kimon in Ninja Scroll as well. As a young, warm-blooded male just about to hit their teenage years, it was the perfect sort of discovery to anime for me, and it really sort of set the table for me at a young age.
No, that's fair. There's actually, and I'm going to take a quote from you, because obviously you opened up saying what you said. We don't yuck other people's yums. So, yes, I'm just basically doing a bit of returning to sender.
Appreciate that.
But there's a gentleman on our podcast under the name Highlander who swears by Ninja Scroll, and I haven't had a chance to watch it just yet. He's sung its praises, and it's probably maybe leading on to my next question. What one anime haven't you watched yet that you feel ashamed you haven't started?
I don't want any of the fantastic Anime Freshmen fans to come at me here, but I have not done a ton with the quote-unquote big three. Bleach is my favorite out of the big three, and the stuff with 1,000 Year Blood War at the moment, phenomenal. I've got a very difficult relationship with One Piece after getting to the Skypiea arc and wanting to hate it and never watch anything that Oda does ever again. But Naruto, apart from a few episodes growing up as a kid, like watching it on the morning cartoons before school and stuff. I have not dipped a toe in Naruto at all. So that's probably the one, because that is a monster of an IP that just about everybody that calls themselves an anime fan have watched to some degree, but I've only watched, I reckon, 10 episodes total in my lifetime, and that was when I was, in my early years. So that's the one.
Okay. No, that's fair. Would you say that there is an anime that's shaped your taste and set your current standards for anime? And if so, would you still be, or would you say you're still chasing that standard or that high?
I don't think I'm chasing that standard or that high anymore, because there's so much good anime that's coming out every week, every month, every year. Like, we are inundated. Like, I think we've never eaten better as anime fans than we are in this day and age. Like, yeah, there's still a lot of slop you got to get through there to sort of find those nice bites as well. Don't get me wrong, but my big thing is, if it's got a good story or a character that I can root for, or just, feel some type of strong emotion for, there's usually a strong chance that I'm going to enjoy what they're throwing up on the screen. Stuff that impacted my taste early, like I said, I sort of jumped into the deep end, into the more mature anime. So after Ninja Scroll, discovering, Bubblegum Crisis, and then the remake of Bubblegum Crisis, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and then that sort of segued into Trigun, Berserk, Perfect Blue, Cowboy Bebop, and all that kind of stuff. So I've always been very sci-fi, fantasy, I guess obsessed a good word. Love sci-fi, love fantasy, but then also love those cute, wholesome, adorable romance stories that just make your heart explode. So it depends on the mood I'm in, but if it's usually done by a reputable studio, or there's, like I said, a story that I can care about or get invested in, or a character that I can root for, I'm usually going to give it a go, for better or for worse.
Okay. No, I love the answer. Okay. You're very what's what I'm looking for? You're basically what I like to call someone who can go to a buffet and there'll be anime everywhere for you to watch, and there won't be a particular one that you would like lean to. You'll make sure that you've tried as much as you can try, and if you are too full, you'll come back next time and give the next one a shot.
Exactly. And like, I don't understand people that go to a buffet and just go, oh, you know what? I like the sweet and sour pork. That's all I'm going to have. I'm going to get that and some rice, even though there's some cool, funky looking dumplings over there. There's some soup over here. There's some entrees over there, a bit of prawn toast, whatever else. Like, load that plate up and just eat till you're full. And like you said, come back another time to sort of finish what you missed the last time. So, yeah, keep an open mind, God damn it.
Exactly. Speaking of being open-minded, is there an anime that you loved once but you wouldn't recommend right now?
This is a hard question. Like, I think, like, I still love it, but I feel I sort of took the wouldn't recommend part just because it can be a tough sell to some people, and that is Kill la Kill. Like, I think it's phenomenal, like, gorgeously animated, really cool, like, coming of age story, and, with the revenge weaved in there, some really funky characters you meet along the way, some really cool combat, but trying to explain to people what the concept is regarding, females and whatever else battling each other in very titillating sentient clothes. It's not an easy sell to some people, whether they be new to anime or maybe old vets to anime. So that, and then the constant force feeding of sexualized or sexual adjacent fan service in that one, it doesn't hold up as well as something like Gurren Lagann, in my opinion. So same studios, but Kill la Kill's the one where I'm like, man, it's so good and I love it, and it's a great rewatch and holds up really well, but it's not for everybody.
No, I agree. On the pod, I've been trying, like similar to you, I guess for the same reasons, I've been trying to get the rest of the team to watch Food Wars, because I believe it's one of the best stories ever. Like, it's one of the best anime stories. Fan service aside, it's like, it's weird to say this, but it's like a sports anime. You basically find yourself like in the action, like front row, and I feel as though, and I think it's a bit weird the way I say it, but I feel as though they're fan service-esque parts is kind of like the power scaling system. Like the more
the stronger the
get.
foodgasm, the better the chef, right? So
Exactly. And it starts off very, I guess, sexualized per se, but towards the end, they're kind of, I'm gonna say metaphors that they use when they're eating the food. It gets more artistic and more nuanced, and like it's a good anime. And I find myself at the end really satisfied with the whole overall story. It was a good story for me.
it is. It's in my top 10 of all time. Food Wars. Like I stand by exactly everything you said. Like it is sexy Iron Chef with heart, and I'm completely on the front lines fighting for this anime every day because a lot of people just dismiss it due to the fan service, but it is done in taste most of the time, and when it's not done in taste, it's done in a humorous way, or it's done to, like you said, really emphasize the power leveling of these chefs. Like it is so good. I think the last season could be slightly stronger at the end, but overall we've got 5 seasons, 100 and something episodes of just food related anarchy, and I've got the cookbook. I've tried cooking some of the recipes they've done over the years. It is so good. I can't speak highly enough of Food Wars.
Same. I feel I've gone to conventions and I've watched and I've seen a lot of cosplayers, but I had genuine excitement when I saw someone cosplaying Soma. I was like, no. I was like, you don't understand. You've made my day.
You don't see many Food Wars causes out there now. I think about it. Like I've been to many a convention, and I can't think of any Food Wars related cosplayers that I've seen. If I saw a meat major out there one day, that I will fold like the cheapest of suits. My goodness gracious
The
me.
meat major. Yep. The funny thing is, it took me a little bit, but I know exactly who you're talking about. The funny thing is, I guess I can understand why a lot of people don't gravitate towards Food Wars, because I watched the first episode initially when I was recommended it, and I was like, nope, this isn't for me. And it probably took me maybe another 2 years of being like, my good friend saying, no, you have to give it a shot, it gets better, like please. So I gave it another shot and watched episode 2 and 3. I was like, okay, you know what, let's see where this goes. And because I kind of gave it a little bit of a break, I had a lot to binge, so that made me enjoy it more, that I basically had like a buffet of Food Wars.
Yeah, listeners, viewers, watch Food Wars. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't check it out. It is so fun, and that's like, that's what you want. You want to be entertained, and that's what this show does. That's what this podcast does that you listen to right now. Shout out to Anime Freshmen.
Shout out Sakura Society. What anime era would you say that you belong to? Because I know like you and me both have watched like anime over the years, and probably have forgotten more anime than we remember. But there's the 90s, there's the 2000s, the 10s, and the current era that we're kind of in at the moment. Where would you say you would hang your hat and resonate with the most in terms of that decade?
This is a tough question. See, you guys ask the tough questions here on the podcast. I respect that, because I'd like to sort of think that I'm multi-generational, but I don't know if that's too egotistical to say. But anyway, I'm saying it. It's my voice, my opinion. Suck it. But no, I'd say if I had to select one era, I would probably say the 90s, because that's where I really found this fantastic medium, where I discovered these amazing stories, and it really set me on the path. And even going back now, watching anime from even the 80s through to the 90s, then into the early 2000s, like it holds up so well. The animation is arguably better than majority of the anime you might watch in this day and age, minus a few. You know, there's a few studios out there that are just, again, in very rare air that you can't touch, like what Ufotable do with Demon Slayer, for example. You know, that is just visual perfection on screen. But watching that stuff from the 80s and 90s is just, it's nostalgic, it's familiar, it's comfortable, and I just love the grittiness of it with so many of those titles, and just the grittiness and the realness in the animation. So I'm gonna say the 90s for me. I'm gonna say I'm a 90s boy.
Okay, no, that is well and truly fair, and I believe it is a hard question, and I don't know why I threw it to you because I don't personally want to answer it myself. But
Damn it! I was just about to ask you the same question.
if like forced to ask that question, it is every decade has had heavy hitters and things that have basically made anime what it is today. I want to say that the 90s is where I want to say I hang my hat. But if I find myself thinking that the tens is probably where I found that was like, okay, I was watching anime or finding anime that was quote unquote not for kids. So I think I spent my 90s and whatnot watching the shonens and the easygoing anime. And then when the Attack on Titans and the like came out around that period, I was like, okay, this is where anime actually is a medium that has some incredible storytelling. Like AOT is my favorite anime, so that's probably why I'm kind of like leaning towards the tens. So
That's fair.
that'll be
That's
my
fair.
one.
And it's a special piece of media, so I can't fault you there.
Speaking of the, I guess the international scene, the other day I had a friend from China reach out to me. It's been many years since I've heard from said gentleman. We obviously, when we do talk, we talk like we haven't not spoken in as much time as we have. But he said to me in these words, he was like, Zen. I was like, yes. He goes, what do you mean there's too much anime? And I was like, whoa, so what do you mean? Basically, me and one of the guys on the podcast had a little bit of a conversation because this season of anime, there is so much anime happening. And I basically said the line that there is too much anime. Not in a bad way, but I'm finding it difficult to keep up with it. Like, the amount of anime that we're getting this season alone, we, in years gone by, will probably get throughout the whole year, like, spread out, if that makes sense. But there's so much top-tier anime dropping in this season of anime alone that I'm like, wow. I'm blown away, if I'm being honest. What's your thoughts?
It's overwhelming. Like, I saw some stat predictions the other day about this, and they're sort of saying that, you know, by 2030 there's going to be on average 500 new anime coming out every year, just based off the trend and the trajectory. I'm sort of working through a video at the moment, recapping all the series that I watched in 2025, but on the caveat that these are only series that either debuted in 2025 or returned in 2025. So it's anything that came out, from Jan 1 through to December 31. And take a guess at how many series I watched in 2025, not even including like rewatches and comfort and stuff like that.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to hazard a guess, and I'm just gonna say, okay, I don't know where this number came into my head first. They say go with the first answer, so I'm gonna say 80.
Not bad, not bad. 118 series I watched that came out in 2025 or returned in 2025 alone. So I got some problems, man. I got some problems because there's a lot of crap in that list.
Did you find yourself watching them all fully, or were there things that you dropped?
Some of, like, let's just say maybe 10% I probably dropped. But at least out of that list, I committed at a minimum 3 episodes. Because the rule of 3, I feel, is a good baseline to work off. But outside of that, I watched everything else on that list from front to back. Like, I was crunching the numbers. I haven't updated my anime list profile in a little while, but I think I'm ticking close to 10,000 episodes of anime I've watched in my lifetime.
Kudos to you, and thank you very much for your service to the anime. I'm going to ask, if you had to choose one anime that dropped last year that is your favorite, which one would it be? You had to choose one.
That's tough. It's a coin toss if we're throwing in films as well, because I just feel Chainsaw Man, the movie Arc, was just phenomenal cinema from front to back. Like, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle was gorgeous, but the pacing was a little boggy and bogged down in comparison. But I think, and this is just based off fandom and love of the franchise, but seeing The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity come to screen, it's one of my favorite manga of all time. It's a must read for me, and it's a must watch, and it was so perfectly done on screen. Like, Cloverworks are the romance kings and queens, and they nailed it with Karako and Rintaro. So that's where I'm putting my bet there.
So let's just say that I was kind of hoping that you chose something else just because I wanted the credit for saying this, but I fully agree with you. Out of all the anime that I watched last year, The Fragrant Flower, honestly, it surprised me. It was something that I went in with zero expectation and came out on the other side wanting more. And everything about it, I have no critique to say. It does the love story with anime well, in terms of, like, you usually find that the love interests drag out their, like, feelings for each other, and it kind of gets a bit laborious to a certain stage in some titles. But in this one, the obstacles in their way and the reason that they didn't, like, I guess, make their feelings known for each other clear is very well written. It's very well written, executed, thought out, and I'm not gonna lie, there's one scene with the mother where she basically, like, reveals something that made me it gave me an emotional jump scare. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I cry a lot in media, whether it be watching, reading, whatever else, playing video games and stuff. But this manga and now this anime, just without fail, it feels like my eyes well up every single chapter that drops on the manga, and then just seeing it done and translated with so much love and care to screen. And I think one thing you just said then that I 100% agree with, like, it's just done in a really relatable, believable, respectful way when it comes to love and romance. Like, it avoids so many of the anime romance tropes, and it's just real, and you can understand not only our two MCs, but yeah, the airtime that the mother gets in this first season, but even just getting more of the family's backstory in future seasons that we'll see, and the broader classmates, and even some of the teachers and stuff. Like, it is just transporting me back to, like, my high school years. Like, I feel I'm going to, Chidori High with Rintaro and his crew, and I'm part of the bunch of quote unquote deviants and mischief makers that Chidori's known as. So yeah, it's just so good. It's just real, and I love it. And yeah, that's top for me from last year. It's hard though, because there was some bangers that came out.
There were some bangers. No disrespect to any of the other ones that we didn't mention, because it actually is a difficult question. I just feel that this one had, I guess, it was just unexpected, and I think that's probably why it does it for me.
Me too.
Okay. So 3-episode rule. Do you believe in it?
I sure do, my friend. I feel this is the best way to consume new or unfamiliar anime, and so much so that, like, with the podcast that I host, formerly More Than Hentai, now Sakura Society, and Anime Appreciation Podcast, what I've done with the way that the podcast functions is, instead of it just, we used to, when we jumped on together, we did an episode 1 deep dive unpacking, pretty much plot point A right through to plot point Z of that first episode. But you get a good taste, you get a little palate cleanser, but you want more of the meal. So I've sort of expanded it out now where we unpack the first 3 episodes, because you can get more of a grounded and rounded opinion, because 20 minutes, they go... we've been recording now for half an hour, and it feels like we've been here for 5 minutes, and we've talked about a lot, but also there's a lot more to talk about. So I feel that rule of 3 is the best way to introduce people to anime that maybe it's a genre they're not familiar with, or maybe they're new to anime in general. I always say, like, just give it 3 episodes. It's an hour. You watch 60 minutes of Married at First Sight or whatever the hell every other night. That's an hour wasted of your time. At least this has got some substance to it. So yeah, rule of 3, 100%. I'm in.
Okay. On the topic of threes, this current season of anime, are there 3 episodes that you, or 3 episodes, should I say, 3 series that you would recommend? What would those be?
This was tough too. Like, with this season, I'm currently watching 19 different series at the moment. A couple are far worse than the others. Don't want to sort of, throw them under the bus too heavily right now. But if you're watching some of those long-winded named isekais, you probably get an understanding of what I'm talking about. But I didn't want to just go like my favorite 1, 2, 3 for the list as far as ranking, so I sort of tried to cherry pick a few. And the first one, I think it goes without saying, Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2. Like, it is an all-timer, madhouse, cooking. They're doing more with this manga than is to be expected. Like, the way they're animating some of these panels, my goodness gracious. Like, they are rolling up the Brinks truck as far as the budget for this. So, Frieren, it is in my top 10 of all time already, and we're only tipping, 34 episodes in totality so far, I think, between Season 1 and Season 2. It is just so special and so different. Like, how do you feel about Frieren? Are you sort of on the boat with me, or am I sort of, singing a different tune right now?
If I missed the boat, the harbor, I would have jumped into the water and swam after you, because Frieren is... And it's funny you say that, because I haven't actually, I guess, expressed this, and I've thought this. Frieren has become one of my favorite animes of all time. And when people ask me what are my favorite animes, I find myself saying my usual suspects, like the Hunter x Hunters, the Fullmetal Alchemists, the Attack on Titan, of course, I can't forget that one. I would give those S ranks in terms of like they are like genre defining anime. Frieren, as far as I am concerned, is already an S. And sometimes I find myself not verbally saying that to others, because I feel as though some people go, well, it's only just come out. How can you say this? It's already, in my opinion, an S. Like, I'm saying that with chest, because it does OP well. Frieren is super overpowered. And in comparison to a show like One Punch Man, which I don't want to mention for obvious reasons, the MC in that is OP done well in a satirical way. This one is OP done well in more of a... It's more understated. When she basically gets to the stage where she has to kind of like flex her repertoire, she will flex the repertoire with the best. But she doesn't lead with that. And there'll be times where she will literally, like, without giving away spoilers, she can be apprehended by people who she can basically, if she so wished, she could basically swat them away if she wanted to. But she has a moral compass that basically will mean that, oh, well, if you're going to basically lock me up for the key, I guess I'll just oblige, even though she can just basically see herself out whenever she so chooses. There's so many things I can say about Frieren. I can go on a tangent about that. But to answer your question, yes, sir, I am well and truly on this boat with you, because Frieren is a beautiful watch. It's very laid back in its approach to the fantasy genre, but it's a good laid back.
And then it really turns up the pressure when it needs to, like with some of these battles. And I remember in that first season, I wasn't a manga reader at the time, but when she's having that battle and trying to avoid naming characters, but when she tells him kill yourself, you just like, I beg your pardon, ma'am. What? Okay, we're going there. Like, yeah, it is so good. It is a perfect anime, and like you were saying, S tier. Like, if we sort of lean into like a Devil May Cry, like I'm going SS tier with this thing. Like, it is so special, and it's an all-timer already. Like, I don't care that it's only been 1 and a bit seasons so far. Like, it is that special, and you can see if they maintain this consistency and trajectory, there's a reason why it's like the highest rated anime of all time on my anime list for season 1 and season 2 now. Like, the anime fans have spoken.
I guess the only thing that I want to say is that I wish the author all the best and good health, because they've had to take a indefinite hiatus due to health reasons. So we wish them all the best, because it's manga they go through it to give us the things that we'll talk about right now on this session. So
they ride the same hostile wave that like video game developers do in this day and age, where they are just getting ground into the ground every day, just working and bleeding for their craft. And then it's like, okay, there's a new game, where's the next one? There's a new chapter, where's the next one? Like, you feel for them. Like, I know that art can be pain sometimes, but yeah, you do wish that these people can put their health first, but some of the publishers and developers out there do not want to abide by that. And Japan are pretty hectic, you know, same at the studio level, like all the stuff you hear all the time from MAPPA and stuff. Like, we sing their praises all the time, but their staff are just getting beaten and stretched thin and thin and thin. But anyway, we wish them all the best, and hopefully it all can regulate itself in the near future.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Other two, Oshinoko. I think it is also a very special piece of media. Like, we're into the third season now, and just that dark, glittery rabbit hole where idol culture meets murder mystery in the entertainment industry, like, is never going to look and feel the same when you watch this. Like, it is so well done. Oshinoko is my first foray into Doga Kobo as a studio as well, and they just serve and serve and serve. Some of the animation and art style in that second season is some of the best I've seen in the last decade. And this third season, like, I've read the manga, so I know where the story's going and ultimately going to end. But it doesn't leave me any less excited to watch these weekly drops at the moment, because it is just anime soap opera, and it is it's a perfect anime again, where it's gorgeous, it's well written, it's well paced. It's, you know, the characters are believable. The voice acting, whether it be the J track or the English track, again, phenomenal. And the soundtrack, banger after banger after banger. So Oshinoko is one of the others I wanted to shout here.
I just want to tag on to that and say Oshinoko is another unexpected gem in terms of, it's my first proper dive into like idol anime. And I found myself hooked from the onset. The first hour special that they did was absolute cinema, and then after that I was already sold. But this, you know, in the second season, when they went into the whole, because they showed the dark side of the entertainment industry, not just idols but the actors, the like daytime TV, just the whole like entertainment industry. It kind of gives you like a nice little lens and kind of like a look into that side of the industry that you wouldn't really ever get a chance to see. Even when in season 2 they showed the stage play that they focused on, it was so well done that it had me, even though we know the characters as they are introduced to us, when they were their characters and their personas on stage, I was sold. It's so good. It
is fantastic. Again, can't recommend it enough. Like, I love that High Dive pick up some of these gems sometimes that become something big, but I'm also happy now that season 3 of Oshinoko is on Crunchyroll, so it's hopefully going to get it even to a larger audience, and then season 1 and season 2, at least here in Australia, is like even available on Netflix now. So I love that this franchise is getting the exposure that it deserves, because it's just good tea. So much drama every episode, and it's edgy seat stuff.
I agree. And last one?
My third one, this was hard. I've got a couple of honorable mentions that I won't deep dive in, but I'll sort of like mention them after this third one. But the third one, I didn't watch this until last week, so I was fortunate enough to be able to binge 5 or 6 episodes back to back to back. I don't know if you've watched it at all yet, but Journal with Witch.
No, I haven't.
It's very unexpected. So it's about a novelist aunt and her grieving teenage niece, and they sort of prove that the messiest, most unexpected families can sort of be the ones that can save you. Like, so it's focused on Makia and Asa. So Makia's sister / Asa's mother and father die unexpectedly in a car crash, and so she goes to live with her aunt, who's a bit of a extroverted sort of loner that has a real hard time socializing and whatnot, and she's just sort of used to doing her own thing at home. So you're watching these two coexist and heal together and find love for one another, and also what they want to do in life. Where Asa, like, her mum was always like, "Oh, you don't join the the band group at school. That's stupid," or don't do that. That's silly. Where Makia, the auntie, she's just like, do whatever you want. Like, as long as you're not hurting yourself, all is fine. Be yourself, find yourself. And then Makia is also coming out of that shell and really, investing in the writing and reconnecting with old friends and old lovers and stuff like that. So it's really fantastic romance and reality in an adult sort of coding as well. So it's a little bit of a slow burn, but it hits. Like, I've cried a couple of times watching this already in these 5 episodes because it's handles the emotions and that messiness that life is better than most. So that's my other one, because I don't think enough people are talking about that this season.
Okay, I'll add that to my list. And yeah, definitely, guys, if you get a chance, give it a shot and let us know your thoughts. Your honorable mentions, what would they be? Because you did mention that.
Yeah, so Hell's Paradise Season 2, fantastic. Mappa cooking. The story's really starting to build. The combat's awesome. The character's awesome. The premise, fantastic. There's some nightmare fuel stuff on that island. But it's just really, really, really well done. Like, Mappa are firing on all cylinders with that one. Sentenced to be a Hero has really, really, really checked all the boxes for me. Like, it is the clever test of this season for me, where it's got that nostalgic 80s, 90s griminess to it, but it's a really cool spin on the traditional sort of hero fantasy genre. I like that they've inverted it where the heroes are actually seen as, you know, pieces of crap out there in the world and whatever else. I love looking at it from that different lens. And then the other one is a really fun rom-com, and it's another manga that I really enjoy called You and I Are Polar Opposites. It's just super fun, it's silly, it's heartwarming, and we get into the romance like really early. It's not like, oh, won't they ever end up together? Like Suzuki and Tani are together, you know, minor spoilers, not really because you see it in the trailers, but they're together, you know, by partway through episode 2. So they're the ones I want to shout. And it's a day one dub for You and I Are Polar Opposites, and the English dub on that is fantastic.
Okay, we heard it here first, guys. If you haven't got to watch this for the season, you heard it here first. Are there any animes from the season that dropped that didn't quite hit the mark, would you say?
Yeah, there was a couple of romance anime in here that did or didn't hit, or hit less for varied reasons. The first one is Love Through a Prism. Everyone is raving about this one, and I'm halfway through. Luckily, with the Netflix, we've got all 20-odd episodes available, ready to smash now. I'm at about episode 10, I think, and it's fine, but I'm really struggling to get that investment and that attachment that I'm looking for. The animation is a little different. It is in relation to sort of the source material, but when a studio like Wit Studio, you know, that type of prestige is sort of attached to it, I thought there might be a little bit more. Some of it's really pretty when it comes to the art itself, but it just hasn't got me yet. Like, I'm hoping this big grand romance story is really going to get me. And then the other one is In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. I love the manga by Mika Yamamori. I think it's a really, really competently told high school romance. But it feels like the budget on this one from the animation side is a little light. Like East Fish Studio I'm not too familiar with, but it feels a little mid, a little underdone from the animation perspective. So it's a great story, but it's getting let down by the art for me. So they're two that I wanted to feel more, and I could potentially with Love Through a Prism once I finish it. But right now they're just like, they're fine. In the middle of the pack.
A bit more of a slow burn, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess currently current, we've got the last question to throw your way. Is there a sleeper anime from this season that you feel isn't getting enough attention?
Medalist is so good. Like, it is starting to get a little bit of hype, but I love the story. But the fact that based off the rankings on my anime list, it is the 33rd most popular anime based off, you know, people interest levels. So there's 32 other anime that are, you know, more hype than that within the anime community. It's got an 8.36 rating so far. Season 1, I think, ended about 8.34-ish. Season 1, like, only came out last year, by the way, was one of my top 3 anime of 2025. Minor spoilers for my list that's coming out soon. But it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's, you know, that sort of fresh take on a sports-related anime. You can't help but root for Inori, this young kid in the 5th grade trying to chase her dream of being an Olympic figure skater. And then, like, her coach, who was, you know, a failed, you know, what do they call the dancers? The ice skating dancers. I'm blanking. I'm disrespecting the medium now. But whatever they do that, like he had a crack at that to become famous, couldn't get there. I don't know if you've watched any of Medalist from last year or this year, but it is so good. And I think the issue why not enough people give it attention is because it's on Disney/Hulu. So they've only got like, a dozen anime in their catalog, it feels like.
Yeah.
Got some bangers in there, don't get me wrong. Shout out to Bleach and, like a couple others out there, Undead Unluck and stuff.
Heavenly Delusion, I believe, is also part of
yeah. It was a sleeper. It was so good. But Medalist, I love it. I can't speak highly enough of it. The animation is really nice by Studio Engi. The soundtrack is an absolute humper. The OP from not only this season and last season is some of the just most toe-tapping, like, good time vibes you'll find. And just seeing these young kids on ice trying their little hearts out and, failing and getting back up again. Like, it's just, this show is pure heart, and it's really, really special. I can't sing Medalist's praises enough. Like, it is, like I said, top 3 from last year, and it's sitting around 5 or 6 in this season at the moment. So, Medalist.
Okay. No, do you know what? You've given me food for thought as well. I'm going to definitely look into some of these ones. I'm finding it personally, I guess, according to my friend, it's a bit blasphemous to say there's too much anime, but I'm looking to make time to watch more anime. And one of my friends actually recommended, because I usually go to the gym when I do go and listen to music, but they recommended maybe doing cardio at the same time as watching anime or two. So that
Cool.
might be another
Good.
way for me to tick off some of the watch list.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, we haven't even mentioned, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 is out this season, Fate Strange Fakes this season. So there's, like, some big dogs that are doing the rounds this season. Core 2 of 5-4 Season 3 and stuff like that.
Gosh,
like,
yeah.
there's
Final
monsters
season.
this season, but there's just so much quality, I feel, at the top end of town that, they're not worth talking about right now, for me.
I mean, they would need a whole episode dedicated to themselves. So the last section of Chinwag today, because I'm pretty sure we can chop it up for hours, and I got
time. I know what your day's looking like, but I got time.
I'll be honored to do this on a more regular basis, because give me an excuse to talk about anime, and I will do it. I will do it. I mean, I do it, so yeah, don't have to ask me twice. But yeah, I guess we're gonna talk shop where the craft meets anime, and from one anime podcaster to another. I'm humbled to have you as my first official guest of the Fresh Takes interview in this format that we are doing. But my question to you, sir, and I guess for my community to know, is why did you start an anime podcast?
First, I'm humbled as well to be the first guest on this, so thank you. So I want to get that out of the way right off the bat. So I used to do a video game and pop culture podcast for close to 8 years. That's sort of how I started in the podcasting space way back when. It was actually like the 10-year anniversary of podcasting for me, like 2 weeks ago, which is crazy to sort of say out loud.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But near the back end of sort of the run, like in those last few years, I started consuming a lot more anime and manga and sort of otaku culture related content. And one of the consistent segments we had in the podcast, like, we'd sort of start off, what have you been up to? And that's sort of where myself and my co-host Ali, or some of the other co-hosts that sort of came and went before that as well, we'd sort of talk about what we've played that week, or watched that week, or eaten that week, or read that week, just to sort of get a bit of a quick sort of sanity check on, any new recommendations you got, what are you consuming that's entertaining you? And in those last few years, I started like talking more about, I watched episode blah, blah, blah of this week, and checked out this new anime, or read this new manga. And so it just sort of started to organically fold into the video game podcast. And then off the back of that, had a lot of fans write into the show or message me sort of saying, hey, love hearing about that you're into anime, what else you're watching, any recommendations? So the sort of momentum started building off the back of that, where the more I'd talk about it, the more people wanted to hear about it. And so near the back end of that final year of the podcast called The Hungry Gamers, because I'm very food coded, so we talk about gaming and eating, just like what a lot of y'all do out there in that space. I started up More Than Hentai in parallel, and it was just, I'll release an episode once a month or once a fortnight, or whatever my workload could handle, and started doing that. And then the more I did that, the more the sort of momentum shift, at least from my focus, started going, you know what, like the gaming, I love it, but it started to wear a little bit thin. And like even to now, I think I've still got video game fatigue where I don't play anything really anymore unless it's a friend reaching out saying you want to jump on and play together. Like all these awesome single player games that are coming out every other month, I just don't have that final push to jump in and give it a spin, and it makes me a little upset. But anime is that new sort of focus for me now, where I'm watching anime, I'm reading manga and manhwa, and just in that ecosystem, and it really just complements being able to talk about that on my own podcast and talk about it on the podcast here with you right now, or talk about it on the socials. Like it's just, anime and video games are the best vessels for storytelling in the world, I think. Like they are the two perfect mediums that can just take you anywhere you want and create anything you want on screen and just make it believable, where live action can be there for some things, but it just can't hit the way that anime and video games can, at least for me, in my opinion. So that's how I started an anime podcast. So that was very long-winded, but that's the journey there, my friend.
No, that's I enjoyed being on that journey with you, my friend.
Thank you.
One thing that jumped out at me is the video game part. One thing, and one of my vices is gaming, but also one of the conflicts I have is finding the time to complete a game. And it's got to the stage where amongst my gaming friends, I've become a bit of a I guess the topic around me and video games is with the single player games, I can't see them to completion. My gaming backlog is so the gaming graveyard that I have is actually really bad. And one of my habits is I will have a game and I will enjoy the game, but then another shiny toy will come out and I'll be like, oh wait, I also want to start this game, and then I'll have too many games on the spin that I don't actually see through. One game, however, that I really enjoyed that came out last year is Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Absolutely beautiful, stunning game. Cast was amazing, and the thing is, I'm gonna go to the world, the tour that they're doing. They're doing like the musical that's coming out. Concert, so to speak. And the concert is what I'm looking forward to do. And a little bit of a spoiler, I will be cosplaying or attempted to cosplay as Minoko from the series, which might be awesome for some to see.
That's so good. Yeah, like Clair Obscure, that's one of the titles where I've got a copy of it, but I just can't, not force, but like press play on that game to start it. But I know I'd love it, and I know it's probably going to be one of the best gaming experiences of my life, but there's just this something that's just sort of freezing me in place after just doing that podcast for 8 years and playing these games, even when I wasn't in the mood, because, you know, you'd be fortunate enough to get review copies and trying to do, you know, media-related stuff, so you've got to smash through these games even when you're not in the mood for it. But circling back to something you said, I'm sort of the inverse with you, where if there's something there, whether it be a video game, a book, an anime, if it's all available, I need to consume it. I need to consume it all now, no matter how many shiny toys or you know, new other versions pop out in the periphery as well. So yeah, if I was to jump into Clair Obscure right now, I know that if I could finally pick up the controller and start going, I wouldn't stop until that game was finished over the span of, you know, I guess a week or 2 weeks, depending on my sort of availability goes, and then I'd move on to the next thing, because yeah, I have a hard time where if I put it down, I worry that I won't go back. And it's the same, I don't replay many games, like all these big RPGs, like that first story, that's my story, and that's all I need. That's good enough for me. Box checked, onto the next game from there. I don't need to go back and play Fallout 17 times or Mass Effect different times and be a Paragon and a Renegade and whatever else. It's just, you know what? No, that's my Commander Shepard. That's cool. Had a good time. On to the next.
On to the next. I guess similar view in that vein, Elden Ring was a game that I played once and I enjoyed it. It was beautiful, but I had people who did the New Game Plus, and I was thinking, why would I put myself through all that all over again?
There's some sickos out there. There's some people that just love that punishment, man.
Literally. But yeah, back onto the main talking point. What is one thing being a podcaster has taught you?
I think it, and the biggest thing it's taught me, I think it's pretty universal. Just take a chance. turn on that microphone, turn on that camera, hit play, and what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm very much of the mindset where I don't want to die wondering about anything. So for better or for worse, I'm going to jump into everything and maybe fail at most, but at least I'm going to put my head on the pillow going, you know what, I had a crack. Because I know on the flip side of that, if I didn't have a crack, it was going to eat me alive and I'd go insane. So if you want to start a podcast, start streaming, making content, learning a new dance, playing a sport, or whatever, just have a go. Like, jump in, take the time to understand what it is you're jumping into as well. Obviously, you don't want to hurt yourself, but take that chance. Just say yes, give it a go, and good things will usually lead from that.
That's sound advice. I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with that. Thank you for that.
Nice.
If you could start again, would you do anything differently?
I think I'd lean into the video aspect of it earlier. The podcast and the podcasts that I've been part of have been primarily just audio based, but a lot of our fans out there have always said, you should record it and upload it in a video format, or cut it into shorts and into pieces. But I think with my mindset, I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but I feel I have a good eye with how things should look. And if I can't make them look that way, then I just don't want to release it. Even though everyone just, like, on the flip side, I said just hit record and send it out there. I'm sort of contradicting my thoughts just a second ago. But I just feel it's such a hand in glove type of situation with content and podcasting now. Like, you look at Spotify, when you jump on, you're listening to podcasts, you can see and you can watch these podcasts in video format as well, should you choose. So if you are looking to get into the podcast game, record the video if you can. If you're not comfortable with that, just, there's plenty of applications out there where you can just have, the audio WAV file bouncing across the screen and a static image. So at least you can still get it out to potential new listeners and viewers. So yeah, I wish I jumped into the video thing a little bit more wholeheartedly. Like, now I am doing it with the short form content. I'm really, really loving it. And I feel if I did that in years past, it probably would have really changed my perception on what we were doing, and maybe taken some of that stress and burnout away, where I can have some fun making silly shorts and reels and little rapid fire content instead of just long form digestible 60+ minute episodes every time.
No, I hear that. And I guess kind of on a similar, journey as you, because our podcast started off as predominantly audio only, and we were slightly late bloomers when it came to the video content side of things, but we are still, navigating that video space as we speak, which is kind of what we're doing now. But it's actually a fun experience learning how to video edit and how to do content creation as well. So yes, that's something that I can relate to.
Oh yeah, and there's no right or wrong way to make your content and release it out there. I think just the biggest thing, just release it. Like, if it's never going to be perfect, but if you can get it to perfect enough, then just chuck it out there. Like, because you never know what's going to take off. You never know what's going to go viral. I can spend hours fine tuning a little short that I make. I'm like, man, this is perfect. It's so funny. The edit's so clean, and the views will be okay. And then you can just chuck some dog wash out there, and it just pops off, and it's a couple 100,000 views or whatever. And you're like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Teach me these algorithms, please, because I don't understand.
The funny thing is, it's funny you say that, because on TikTok, there's videos that we have, as a collective, put, I don't say like effort, because everything is some degree of effort, but we've literally gone, this bit of elbow grease, like really making sure that this is as good as we can get it at the time, because obviously you can always improve. Put it out there and does mod it really well. And then we'll just kind of throw something out without much expectation for it, and then we're like, why is it popped off so much? What is what?
I wish I knew the secret sauce. Like, I think at the end of the day, as long as you enjoy and you're having fun what you're doing, that's what matters. Like, at least for me as a consumer, I don't want to watch or listen or read anything where you can tell it's forced and they're just doing it to try and be famous or for the money or whatever. Like, I want that real, genuine emotion and enjoyment, and I want to feel that sort of sense of community and sort of friendship in the content I consume, and hopefully off the back of that it can lead to some good successes for everybody. But yeah, I don't know the algorithm. I just throw my stuff out there and hope for the best.
Literally throwing it on the wall and seeing what sticks. Have you had anime burnout before?
I don't think in the traditional sense. Like I mentioned earlier that I sort of can go through bouts of like overconsumption and probably hyperfixation on certain things and certain IP and certain types of media. But I think with that, all that sort of then reflected is like, oh, now I'm caught up. Now I can sort of put my foot off the gas a little bit and only catch the latest episodes of maybe my top 5 or 10 that I'm watching week to week, and I can scale back and bank a few episodes of other ones. So at the moment, touch wood, no anime burnout. I don't want sort of the same burnout to happen that's occurred with video games. I'm trying to be more mindful and more present of how I'm feeling and how the passion is going. Like if it starts to wane, then I'm like, okay, slow it down, scale the content back, scale the consumption back, because I don't want to look ahead in a few years and go, I can't watch anything anymore. I can't read anything anymore. That will break my heart. So I can't lose all my hobbies and my obsessions.
That would be too painful and too tragic. When you review and discuss anime, how do you balance hype versus like your honest critique?
I think I look at it like this, where the hype, it initially gets you in the door, but I feel like the quality, the entertainment, and the hopeful consistency of the product is what keeps you there. So I'm happy to listen to anybody's opinion and thoughts, whether it be a review online, a content creator spouting something, or a podcast. But I'm not going to let that define and shape my opinion going into an anime or a movie or a book. Like I go, oh cool, I might add another little layer to the hype and expectation. I'm like, you know what, that's an opinion that I typically can gel with and agree with. If they like it, I think I'm going to like it. But once I'm parked in that seat, whether it be in the cinema or home on the couch or here in the studio and watching stuff or reading stuff, then it's my time to make the decision. So I try and balance it with avoiding too much bias. But there is, there's genres we like or don't like more or less than others, so that can be hard. So I try and look at everything from a bit of a neutral lens and give just good, open, honest feedback that can be informative but entertaining. That's sort of how I try and lean into my content and how I usually do things, not only in the podcast space but in life and work as well. Like I think if you can leave a good impression like that, and also just be mindful and respectful of people's time when it comes to content creation, or even just having discussions with family, friends, partners, whatever. Everyone has a life to live and a sort of schedule and a time to manage. So just make sure you're not getting caught out in the weeds, and give them the good stuff. And if you can't add some value, just don't say it.
No, solid. Okay. Looping back to the international scene, what is fandom like in Australia? And I guess from what you know about the international scene, how does it compare to international fandoms?
I'd say if we were to look back 2, 3, 4 years ago, because I've been in and around the convention space for a long time, just off the back of the video game podcasting stuff, because there is so many conventions that mix in video games and anime and pop culture. So I've sort of seen it over the last couple of years really sprout and grow. Like I'd say a few years ago it was pretty good, but now it's starting to feel like it's a bit of a monster, where we've got a lot of anime specific conventions. Like we've got something called Animaga, which is probably the biggest standalone anime convention. They've just sort of started that in 2 states this year. It was primarily just in my home state of Victoria, but now it's up in New South Wales, in Sydney as well. We've got Smash, which is another anime festival. There's a new convention that's just started up called Anime Mayhem that's debuting this year. And then we've got stuff, like PAX Australia, which is, the only other PAX outside of America these days, Supernova, Comic-Con, etc., etc. So we see a lot of anime, manga, otaku culture adjacent advertising, branding, fandoms popping up at these things, whether it be merch booths or, targeted marketing booths where you see Crunchyroll exhibiting at some of the, the broader pop culture festivals and conventions as well. But then I think even with PAX, which is primarily a video game related convention, I'd say it's probably 60 or 70-30 as far as when you see the cosplayers, majority of them are anime related. Like anime especially when it comes to cosplay, just really knocks down so many barriers, and it is just so universally known to a degree. Like, they might not know the character specific or the title, but you see a lot of these characters doing the rounds now, and they're like, oh, that's someone from Chainsaw Man, or, you know, Spy Family, or Naruto, or, you know, some of the other big IP that are just sort of smacking down into the mainstream these days. So I think overall, we do pretty well. Like, you know, we're still a pretty small country population-wise here, but it's really cool to see so many states and cities around Australia now really embracing anime and otaku culture and creating standalone events, or sort of piggybacking off the big ones around, and you know, making it more accessible for everybody. So yeah, I think it compares pretty well. Like, I haven't done anything in like Asia or Europe or the United Kingdom, but I've done some of the cons in America, and I feel it's pretty damn similar.
Okay. I guess last question I have, leaning into the international scope, is what time of day does anime tend to drop for you when it's like a fresh release? Because over here on my side, it'll probably be like in the late afternoon, evening. So probably around about when I finish work or get home, I've got something fresh waiting for me. How's it, and when's it usually drop for you?
It's rough out here in the southern hemisphere, I gotta say. Like, you know, I am talking to you from the future right now, so I'll send you the lottery numbers after this, and hopefully you can live a good life. But
appreciate you.
Usually
I'll sort you out.
Yeah, thank you. Just a little finder's fee, just enough to get me a ticket to Japan. Maybe one of those houses on Cheap Houses Japan that I sort of fawn over all the time on Instagram. But as far as anime releases go here, it's anywhere from sort of midnight to 2 a.m. is our release window. So it's either you stay up late, sacrifice some sleep and cop it just before bed, or what I like to do, like my Sunday mornings typically, I'll sort of have a quiet, slow, easy Sunday morning, get up, have some brekkie, and sort of catch up on my stories on a Sunday, and then the other ones I'll just sort of watch whenever I'm available. So yeah, they're really, really goddamn early drops, dude, and it sucks.
I feel you. But yeah, I guess I honestly could keep you hostage, but I know that you have a couple of pooches that you're looking to take for a walk. So
yeah, a little midnight stroll. But hey, I'm here willingly. I'm not hostage. There's no handcuffs here. I'm here on my own accord.
Blink twice if you need help. But Brendan, my man, thank you so much for your time. I honestly appreciate you and had so much value from the conversation that we have had today. Before we wrap up on this side, where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, for sure. Again, thank you so much for having me. This has been a ton of fun. It's always good riffing with you, both you know, in podcast form and then offline in the Instagram chats. Just some of the back and forth and just the random nostalgic clips and gifs you send my way always seem to warm my heart. So thanks again for that. You can find me on the socials everywhere at More Than Senpai. That's on all the platforms. You can find the podcast at Sakura Society, an anime appreciation podcast, or if you want to find it all the sort of stuff housed in one central location, you can go to either sakurasociety.co, or if you want to go to your favorite podcast, and that's favorite spelt the Australian way, FAVOURITE, yourfavoritepodcast.com. You can find all the stuff there because I made a very sexy new website that I'm very proud and impressed with. So go have a look at that and let me know what you think, just to stroke my ego a little bit, please.
The funny thing is, your website, I wasn't sure if you were going to mention the spelling of your website, because on your link, it's not basically stated how you basically said it just there, which is your favorite podcast, also spelled the UK way, .com. And when I saw that spelling and the domain, so to speak, I was blown away. But guys, the website is absolutely amazing. I've had a gander, and I can honestly say, standards, like you set the standards in what you do. Like, your content's always very intentional, and you're generally an amazing person to follow and to speak to. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, I guess I'm just going to ask, do you have any new fresh takes based on our conversation today?
Whoa, this is hard. This is a hard one, because it's like, what takes are fresh when it comes to anime these days? Like, I don't think the whole sub versus dub debate's a fresh thing. I think the debate's silly. I feel the quality in modern dubs is better than they've ever been, minus the hysteria, like the madness that is the Ghost Stories dub from back in the day. But like, just listen and consume your content however you like. I think also it's totally fine to enjoy both, seasonal trash and then the more serious, high-end, upper-class peak stories and anime out there. Like, I don't think it's mutually exclusive. Like, sometimes it's just fun to turn your brain off and watch some fan service or some isekai or some low-end nonsense. Like, like talking about food as we have throughout this podcast. Like, sometimes you feel like a nice, tasty smash burger, and then other times you feel like a Marble 9 score Wagyu with truffle sauce and all the trimmings. So, like, there's no right or wrong answer. We like what we like, and we can consume whatever we want to consume. So that's my takes. I don't know how fresh they are, but I feel that's when I want to plant my flag here at the moment, because it is nearly midnight here, and my brain is starting to slow down a little bit.
My man, thank you very much for your fresh take on anime. I've been Parker Zensai. I've been joined by Brendan. You guys have been awesome, guys. As always, keep it fresh.
Much love.